A 17-year-old named Sam decided to go on a one-night hike in the Superstition Mountains in Arizona. But he wasn't able to move as fast as he thought he could, and soon the sun was down and it's totally dark and he's got his flashlight. And so as it happened, where he was, there was this forest right nearby and he could see there was a clearing, and he found it was a great spot to make camp. And in fact, on the edge of this clearing was the remnants of a fire pit. It was very old, but it at least showed someone had camped out right here. And pretty soon he had a fire going and he began eating his dinner. And as he was eating, he started to get a sense that something was off. He began scanning the tree line, but his visibility was incredibly limited. But as he's rationalizing this kind of bad gut feeling, a rock the size of a marble comes soaring into the campsite and lands at his feet. And he looks down at the rock and immediately he connects that to that sense of dread he had. And so for the next 15 minutes, Sam is really aggressively scanning the tree line and listening really intently, and he begins to convince himself that there's nothing wrong here. And he got into his sleeping bag and he went to sleep. A couple of hours later, Sam wakes up and he has that same sense of dread, and he can't hear anything, he can't see anything, but he's definitely feeling something is wrong. And at that moment, he hears the sound of rustling leaves. He wanted to grab his flashlight and shine it in that direction, and so he reaches next to him where he had left it when he had gone to bed a couple hours earlier, and he can't find his flashlight. And that's when the alarm bells start going off in his head, because the only way this flashlight moves is if he moved it. And if it's not here, how did it move? And as he's looking, out of the corner of his eye, he sees some light. And he turns his head, and in the same direction that he had heard those rustling leaves when he was still laying down, he sees his flashlight laying on the ground about 10 meters away. And immediately, Sam thinks to himself, that's a trap. Suddenly he felt so scared, but he knew in order to survive this situation, he needed to keep his wits about him. Every time the fire got lower, he noticed they would come closer and closer and closer, and when he would stoke the fire, they wouldn't come as close. But at about 3 a.m., he ran out of firewood. And for 2 hours, this poor kid is standing in the middle of this campsite, facing in the direction of whatever is behind the trees, waiting for whatever happened next. But ultimately, the only thing that would happen is the sun would eventually come up. This thing on the other side finally moved, it turned around and ran away. And so he packed up everything he had and he practically sprinted back into his car, and he drove nonstop for 20 miles until he got to a gas station where he could park and collect himself. He noticed someone had written something on the dust on the back window of his car, and he walks over and it just says, "Sleep well?" Sam is confident whoever was stalking him at his campsite is the same person that wrote this message on his car. And now Sam just wonders, what would have happened if I retrieved that flashlight?